we sent our underwriter out there, before we closed to go see it. And I remember talking to her, and I said, Sam, like, aside from touring the property, you got to go to you got to like use the slides. Like, we can't finance a water park that no one's actually like tested. And I didn't know how she was going to react to that.
Yeah.
But she was awesome. And she's like, she's in her mid-20s, and, she was there by herself in the middle of the day. And she did every slide, and she was there for hours. She had a great time.
Every capital stack looks clean on paper until the pressure hits. I'm Bali Kumar, COO of Pace Loan Group, and this is the Chameleon of the Capstack, a podcast about real deals, real decisions, and how CPACE gets used when certainty matters most in commercial real estate. Today, we're joined by Pace Loan Group CEO Rafi Golberstein and Head of Loan Structuring, Jerry Ellis. Hospitality deals are complex, especially when involving unique assets. This episode explores a wide variety of hospitality projects and how CPACE gets the sponsors the most efficient structure to achieve their business plan.
So then we can go to New York's kind of like, I don't want to offend too many people here, but like, ugly stepbrother next door to New Jersey.
And which one do you want to go to first?
Well, let's go to the funky one, the Waterpark.
Okay.
All right. So Jerry, you had the honor of closing the first ever CPACE deal in the state of New Jersey, period, hard stop, first to market, never been done before.
That's right.
On December 31st.
All right. So I think the market, the program came online August 31st, something like that.
It'd have been years in the making.
That's about 2 years later, past when actually I think the governor had signed the legislation. So it took quite a while. Yeah.
And then as I recall it, your recollection may be different. Somewhere around October, you called me up and you're like, Rafi, we got a water park in Atlantic City. It's going to close by year end. And I'm pretty sure what I at least said to myself in my head was, no freaking way, Jerry's full of shit. Yeah. There's no way, it's just not going to happen before year end. But it did.
It did. We signed it early November, we signed the term sheet. Yeah.
That was a fast close.
It was something like that. I want to say it was, yeah, that's right.
Geez. I mean, so this one, from my perspective, and again, a year in Bali is probably a little bit different, just sitting in different aspects of this deal. Like there was a lot of wood to chop on this. I mean, you had a really tight clock. You had effectively 50 days to get it done. You had the county or the city had to opt into the program. And then you had just the fact that you're effectively financing a water park for $45 million.
Let's start first with, there was a retroactive period that the New Jersey program had adopted, basically saying, look, if you have a retroactive deal, if you can submit the application by December 5th, this was one exception for prevailing wage. So that was really the timeline, right? It was to meet that. And then it was closed thereafter. And
I forgot about that. Yeah, December 5th. So we had to like hustle to get the entire energy audit done in effectively a month.
Yes.
On a unique asset class.
Yeah. I mean, basically we had to get, effectively the deal had to be baked by then, and then we could close thereafter. Unique situation. This is, the owner sponsor is a Philadelphia-based developer, very substantial. He bought this property, which was a hotel casino on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. He bought it. The seller was a gaming company that put a deed restriction that no gaming could be at the property for 10 years, I want to say. So he bought it in 2016, renovated. There are 2 hotel towers. There's a multifamily tower that he built in the back as well. And then there was a 4-acre parcel that was adjacent to the hotel. So in 2023, he started construction of a water park, which he then completed. It completed in 23 at some point. 125,000 indoor water park.
It's the largest in North America, I think.
I don't know if it's close, if it's not the largest. And it's not just the water. I mean, there's 100,000 feet of water park, and then there's food and beverage and cabanas, and it basically it mimics kind of a boardwalk feel, right? Even though it's enclosed and it is on the boardwalk, but that's the whole theme, right?
Right.
But it's pretty remarkable. I think its first year it had 300,000 visitors to the water park, which is staggering, really, and did very, very well. And it was a unique situation. I will say it's my first water park that I ever financed. But it was
all you escaped the site visit. Someone else went in your stead.
Yes. But it was also a situation where our the loan to cost was 20%, something like that.
It cost a staggering amount to build.
There was a lot of equity in the deal. There was some funky capital that was in the transaction that this sponsor needed to get basically recapitalized, and that's
right. We provided liquidity, right? I mean, it's effectively.
We did. I mean, it wasn't. We didn't. It was enough for him to. He still has a substantial amount of equity in the transaction, but it was enough for him to recap what he had in the deal and put it to rest on long-term money.
For sure, yeah. It was like a recapture of equity, but not a cash out, because he's still
not at all
a ton of skin in the game. But I remember, I mean, if this had been a ground up deal, we probably would have passed on it.
No, but we had 2 years of operating results, which were
huge.
Huge. Yeah. And so it worked. There's some upside relative to the cash flow, because he had renovated one of the towers of the hotel towers, so there was offline, and yet it still had a sufficient cash flow when one of the towers was offline for renovation. We still had good coverage, so there's some upside going forward, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and the collateral here, aside from it being a water park, which is unique, we're situated, like I said, Jerry, like, there's other aspects to the larger campus. They were all effectively separate parcels. They were all individually financed. So I think there were, like, including us, 4 or 5 lenders were all part of this larger campus financing, and a lot
and institutional lenders.
Like Wall Street,
yes,
big firms, and a lot of cross-easements to make sure that everyone had access to everything else. And so there was some added nuance to that aspect. But the whole thing, I mean, it went by phenomenally fast.
Well, to your point earlier, we had to get Atlantic City to adopt or opt into the program. Right, we had to meet the timeline with regard to the prevailing wage waiver. All right, so, and we had to close by 12/31 to clean up the capitalization of the deal. So there was a lot going on.
Okay, so this question came up on a different podcast we did about a data center, and the general question was, how do you have an energy efficient data center? And so I'm going to pose the same question to you. How do you have an energy efficient water park?
Well, I think it's really, it's twofold. One, because of the indoor aspect of it, right? The HVAC was significant, right? The cooling, and the second part is the water and recycling of the water. Mm-hmm. So that was, it was different for sure. But we ended up roughly 20% of the total cost of the deal. So, I mean, the substantial amount, the construction cost here was very high.
Yeah.
And so we ended up being 20% of that, which was the qualifying amount via New Jersey PACE.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a fun and funky deal that you got done fast and furious. And I really like I like the business plan, right? I'm from New York City. My father, huge gambler. I spent a lot of time as a child in Atlantic City or at whatever casino would give him a free night or two of hotel stay. And so for me as a child, my father would basically give me $50 and be like, all right, I'll see you in a few hours. And so, like, this is the type of thing that makes Atlantic City, the family-friendly place where it's not just parents gambling and kids just walking aimlessly on the boardwalk.
So this sponsor bought it, and with the deed restriction, doesn't have an interest in doing gaming. He built one of the largest arcades he's an arcade also as part of the property, which is massive. And that's another 100,000 feet of this arcade.
Are you a duck hunter or a skee ball person?
I have no idea what you're talking about. So clearly I'm not an arcade guy.
Nope.
Skee ball.
Skee ball, probably, yeah.
For me personally.
Or pop a shot, right?
I don't know what that is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, like,
So it's a family. To your point, it's family friendly, and that's what he's done and marketed, and I think successfully. Sure enough, with the Waterpark.
Yeah, and you're 90 minutes from Philly or a couple hours from the city. Like it's, AC is a unique place, but it's definitely. I mean, it's got its demand and draws for sure.
And the operators are doing a great job marketing it for, to be everything for everyone. So you could have went there for New Year's and rented a cabana and got a bottle and run in the New Year.
Yeah.
They have adult night swim. They have obviously stuff for kids, plenty of stuff for kids. So families, kids, young couples.
So what's interesting is that they're open. So really April to October full time, and then it's weekends or vacation time. And so when you think about doing 300,000 visitors with effectively 9 months, when you add in all the weekends plus the full-time opening, it's a lot of people.
Yeah. We sent our underwriter out there, before we closed to go see it. And I remember talking to her, and I said, Sam, like aside from touring the product, you got to go to you got to like use the slides. Like we can't finance a water park that no one's actually like tested. And I didn't know how she was going to react to that.
Yeah.
But she was awesome. And she's like, she's in her mid-20s and, she was there by herself in the middle of the day. And she did every slide and she was there for hours. She had a great time.
She did. She actually sent me an email before she went. She's like, I'm thinking about these dates. If you want to come and bring your girls, I'll take them in the water park. It's like, it's a great offer. It's just not going to work.
But perhaps
due diligence there.
Yeah. You got to kick the tires. You got to see the assets. Yeah. But perhaps the Ellis family will make a journey to AC next year's. You're like,
no, yeah, I think so.
All right. So then, so that's kind of the water park, and, interesting for a lot of reasons, notwithstanding being the first, which is no small feat in a state that took for freaking ever to get its program up and running. And in many ways, I think it could completely, put New York to shame by saying, hey, we're actually open for business now. Like Washington, Jersey surpassed New York in volume.
I will tell you that we've closed it on the 31st, and by reputation and referrals, we have 2 other Jersey deals that have come in within a week.
Yeah,
I mean, there hasn't been any press on it yet.
Yeah, I mean, you're mentioning something which is the referrals, and the fact that we were able to get this deal closed in effectively 50 days, but even less when you think about the fact that you had to get the application submitted by the 5th of December.
It's 30 days, but
so that is like lightning fast for a C-PACE deal. It's not uncommon for C-PACE deals to take 5 or 6 months to close. So like a 30-day window is almost unheard of for a C-PACE financing.
And that's why the referrals are coming from the sponsor of the deal.
Yeah, which is, it's the best kind of referral you can get. Yeah. I asked a question at the beginning, like, why hospitality? For PLG, and I think honestly for the industry, our top 3 asset classes historically and still are hospitality, senior living, and market rate multifamily. So like, what is it about hospitality that is just so PACE friendly in any number of situations? Like it's just seemingly such an easy fit.
I think really it's the alternative capital sources that you could have in the stack are much. It's not as efficient. It's not like multifamily where you can get bank financing on construction or you have agency debt, right? Hospitality is still more difficult asset class to underwrite, and also to obtain the appropriate capital. So leverage is one issue. Pricing is another issue. It just fits for PACE very well because for us in our position, it's, we can price incredibly competitively versus where they can get it, alternatively outside of PACE. I think that's really the biggest distinction.
Yeah.
I have to give some props to the underwriting team and like everyone involved in credit, because it's so easy to just say, sounds a little esoteric, no thanks. and it's much harder to dive into the specifics of each deal,
Yeah.
which is what we did, right? We had to dive in and really get into the nitty-gritty for each deal to determine whether it's truly creditworthy or not. And we got there because we did the work.
No question.
Yeah, you got to be able to expand your mind from the daily rate, the ADR in Orlando of whatever, $160 to $800 in upstate, and to be able to validate. I think you're spot on,
Or
Bob.
$900 in North
Yeah.
Jersey.
If you're wearing like a visor and like you can't see anything beyond, like it's not going to work. And that's, I think, just part of good due diligence and understanding market fundamentals and being open to learn.
Thanks for listening to the Chameleon of the Capstack from Pace Loan Group. For more information about C-Pace and Pace Loan Group, visit paceloangroup.com and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.